Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the Tartu 2024 Foundation very much for inviting me today to deliver this keynote on the European dimension in cultural management. During the next 10 minutes that we have together, I would like to explore two topics with you. The first one concerns the opportunities for smaller regions and cities to open up and develop further the European dimension. And the second topic focuses on the benefits of developing a project at the European level. For both topics, I will use the ECOC Leeuwarden-Friesland 2018 as a study case, not only because Leeuwarden is in size similar to Tartu, but also because the European Capital of Culture here was organized in close cooperation with the region. Keeping that in mind brings me to our first topic. What does the European Capital of Culture Year mean for smaller regions and cities to open up and develop further the European dimension in cultural management? Well, to start with some hard figures, a total of 1,600 international collaborations covering 87 countries took place as part of the Leeuwarden-Friesland 2018 program. I think this number immediately illustrates the enormous potential there is for international collaboration for smaller cities and the surrounding regions. To show how to make best use of the European Capital of Culture program to indeed further develop the European dimension in cultural management, I would like to share 5 very practical tips with you today. Starting with the first one, and that is to use the ECOC title as a vehicle for contacting international artists and cultural organizations. With the European Capital of Culture title being such a well-known brand, the size or the location of the city that hosts the event becomes less and less relevant. The fact that you can approach artists and cultural organizations on behalf of a European Capital of Culture program can make a huge difference when exploring possible international collaborations. To give you one example, I would like to look at our 11 Fountains project. For this project, we invited 11 renowned artists from all over the world to design a fountain for each of the 11 cities in our region. The ECOC title enabled the artistic director of this project not only to invite these artists to participate in a very interesting visual arts project taking place in Friesland, but also to become part of one of the blockbuster events of a year-round international event, namely the European Capital of Culture Year. So my first very practical piece of advice would be to make maximum use of the prestigious ECOC title when contacting partners at the European level. See this as a very big chance. When you approach artists, cultural organizations, or festivals, introduce yourself, the organization that you work for, explain the project that you work on, but also frame it as part of the European Capital of Culture Year. My experience is that people are always interested to explore a possible collaboration with a city that hosts the European Capital of Culture Year. How to find these international partners, though? That brings me to my second strategy, which is to work together with individuals and organizations that already work on the European level. This can be curators, artists, or festivals, and they can be based in your city and your region, but also in other parts of the country. With the European Cultural Foundation in Amsterdam, and the Berlin-based organization Midost, we, for example, set up the Tandem Friesland project, a cultural collaboration for cultural managers that aim to strengthen regional communities around Europe. So here my recommendation would be to start by exploring which people and organizations already have a vast international network and investigate how you can link these people and these networks to the projects of your European Capital of Culture program. Because in the end, a successful European dimension heavily depends upon the already existing networks and the networks you can build out of these networks again, as well as the new international collaborations that the cultural sector of a city itself can set up as part of the European Capital of Culture Year. My third strategy to set up international collaborations is to work together with other European capitals of culture. Getting the opportunity to host the European Capital of Culture Year also immediately means that you join the so-called European Capitals of Culture family. There are representatives in most of the cities that have hosted this event in the last 12 years or so, that have good knowledge of and access to the local cultural sector in their cities and their regions. Through these contacts, we managed to set up many international projects. Just to name one, there is an acclaimed opera company based in our region that produced the opera Aida with a great number of partners from Valletta and from Malta. And in this case, it was the Valletta 2018 Foundation that helped us to get in touch with the creative and the cultural sector in their region, in their city. So if you're interested in working together with the local cultural sector in other ECOCs too, ask the colleagues of the Tartu 2024 Foundation to get in touch with their peers in these cities and see if they can introduce you to the artists, festivals, museums, etc. that are based there. My fourth strategy is to work together with networks. There are many European and international networks representing and bringing together cultural operators from our different art disciplines. These networks and the meetings that they organize are great places to meet potential international partners, as well as to learn to set up international collaborations. We in Leeuwarden-Friesland, for example, work together with the UNIC network, the network for EU National Institutes for Culture. With them and the local cultural sector, we organized the European Literature Night in Leeuwarden. And through the connections of this UNIC network, we managed to bring together authors from all over Europe to Leeuwarden for an evening full of stories, poetry, and cinema. Besides the UNIC network, there are 27 other European networks that are supported by the Creative Europe program. I would really advise you to reach out to these networks, to become member of the networks that are relevant for you as cultural manager, but also to explore with the Tartu 2024 Foundation if some of their events, maybe also satellite projects, can take place in your city, also prior to 2024 already. My last advice for today is to work together with embassies worldwide. If you're interested in the cultural scene in a specific country, it can be very helpful to get in touch with your cultural attaché that is based in that country, as he or she usually knows the cultural sector over there very well. We, for example, have worked closely together with our embassy in Tokyo, who assisted us in selecting a Japanese artist to participate in the 11 Fountains project. Therefore, as my final advice, I would recommend you to reach out to your embassies, inform them about the European Capital of Culture Year, about the projects that you organize, and ask the cultural attachés to see what connections can be made with artists, cultural organizations, festivals, etc., from the countries that they are based in. In sum, when looking at the Leeuwarden-Friesland 2018 case, we can say that the European Capital of Culture Year offers great opportunities for smaller regions and cities to open up and develop further the European dimension in cultural management. However, it is important to keep in mind that setting up international collaborations takes time. This counts for all 5 strategies that I have described. This also means that now is the time to start focusing on setting up concrete partnerships with artists, cultural organizations, and networks from around Europe. This is not something that can wait till 2022 or 2023. That brings me to my second topic, which is, when I look back at 2018, what are the benefits of developing a European level project? Well, firstly, it immediately lifts your city to the European level. The European Capital of Culture project ensures that your city at once becomes part of the cultural map of Europe, and it also remains part of this cultural map of Europe. And like already discussed before, this offers you many chances to set up international collaborations. Secondly, it also provides you with the opportunity to look at local topics from a more European perspective. A third benefit of developing the European Capital of Culture year is that you will notice an incredible increase in the attention for your city as well as the local cultural sector in your city and your region. Instead of just having to approach international partners yourself, you will also see that in due time, these partners will contact you as well to explore how they can work together with you. To conclude, after our ECOC year was over, I was asked to develop the international strategy for the legacy plans. All the cultural managers that I spoke to indicated that they were interested to continue working on this European level. And I think this clearly illustrates that organizing a European Capital of Culture program is an experience that no one can take away from you anymore. And that it also gives enough confidence to continue working on this European level in the future as well, even though if you are a smaller city or a smaller region. With these words, I would like to conclude my keynote. I wish you good luck on your European journey and look forward to answering any questions you may have during our panel discussion.